Welcome back. This is part 3 of the Reinvent Yourself series. In this video, we're looking at how do we keep track of our progress. Progress is very important because that's ultimately what's going to help motivate us to stay on track. So in the last 2 videos, we looked at deciding to change and then what we actually wanted. So now that we know what we want, we can record how often they show up, and this can help us to track wins. Being able to see that we are making progress is one of the keys to maintaining motivation and discipline. So every day that you do or experience the things you want more of, and every day that you successfully stop the things you don't want, we want to mark those down somewhere. This could be as simple as writing it down on paper and ticking a box or crossing it off a list. Or I know that there are some apps available that you could do this on your phone. But what we want is to make a daily ritual habit, either in the evening just before bed or in the morning just as you wake up. The first time I used tracking, I just did it on paper. I drew a 30-day calendar for a month, and each day I would just mark an X off for every day that I did or didn't do the thing that I was working on. It's helpful to stick this up somewhere where you would see it every day, your bedroom door or in your bathroom. This is helpful in 2 ways. One, seeing it every day will help remind you to tick it off. And 2, having a visual representation of how many days of progress you've made can help motivate you to stay on track. It's important that when you cross or tick this off your list, you give yourself a small reward. This could be as simple as just saying, yes, I am proud of myself for doing this today. Or wow, I've got 3 days in a row. Even this little reward is beneficial for your brain and helping you to develop the new habit or skill. Remember to reward progress. So when you first start out, there might only be 1 or 2 days in a week where you manage to do this, but every week you should try to improve. So if you only got 3 days in the first week, try to get 4 days the next week. Then in the next month, try to get 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Over time, you'd build up these streaks, 7 to 10 to 15 days in a row. This helps to maintain your discipline, because I remember times when I would be somewhere out and I'd think about my streak and go, I don't actually want to do that because I don't want to break my 10, 15, 20-day streak. Eventually, over time, you'll build up to 1 month, 2 months, and this really helps to motivate you and keep you on track. Another valuable way to keep track or notice the changes is to journal. Once a day, again at the end of the day, or I prefer to do it first thing in the morning, is to write down some of your thoughts and ideas. Write down some of your inspirations, your pain points, your wins or successes, anything. Just write down how you're feeling in the moment. This doesn't seem like much in the beginning, but over time it'll help you to clear your mind. And another way that it's helpful is later on I would look back over my notes when I was feeling down or unmotivated, and I would see how my mindset and my thinking changed over 2-3 week periods. Over time, you might notice how big a difference there is in the way you're thinking, in how these actions and habits that you want are showing up in your life and changing the way that you think. You might be able to see or notice how you had problems and you were able to deal with it, or weren't able to deal with it. As in my case, one thing I noticed was over time, I would see the same things showing up in my journal. So I was going through cycles. I would write something down and then a few months later I would experience the same thing. And this was a big turning point for me because I realized I had to do something else. So writing or journaling can be very helpful for creating change. In the next video, I'll go over changing the programming, how we rewrite the code of the subconscious to help us become different. See you in the next one.